Yesterday, I conducted a poll. Girlfriend says, marry me or I'll file a false promise to marry rape case on you. Should this man in this situation marry or not? I've had hundreds of men consult me with this exact same dilemma. And so many of them tell me that they consulted people around them, lawyers, laypersons, and everybody says it's better you marry this girl right now and later you can give her divorce. And they ask me what I think about it. And I tell them that in a few situations, it may make sense for you to do it, although I don't condone this behavior as an advocate. But I understand when other people recommend that you can pull this off. But I would say that this is something that, even though it is unethical, illegal to do it, you can get out of this situation by marrying the girl, then going for filing for a divorce. But you need to understand that there are other factors at play as well. Number one, once married, it is very highly possible, looking at statistics, that right now when you're facing only a rape case, it will only be you who will be targeted. Nothing can come against your family members. Very, very often, I would say about 98% of the times that I have seen matrimonial disputes, the names of mother, father, brother, sister, whether they stayed together or not is irrelevant. Whether they have ever met the person is irrelevant. They become accused persons in dowry harassment, cruelty for the purpose of dowry, criminal breach of trust, etc. All of these offenses. Second aspect is the maintenance aspect. When you're in a rape case, you are only facing prosecution, going to jail, but it's a very real possibility. But on the other hand, if you are facing a matrimonial dispute, maintenance case is going to be a big challenge for you. Another aspect is residence orders in a house which is owned by either you or your family members. So it is not as simple as marry the girl. It is not as simple as don't marry the girl. This is what I would say. If you are not having very high income, if you're not having a lot of assets in your name, and if you don't have a house which is owned by you or any of your family members, then you want to pull this off, I would not blame you. Otherwise, if you have a little high net worth, if you have a decent income, you have a house which is owned by you or your family members, it's going to be far more difficult in a matrimonial dispute for you than going for anticipatory bail. If worst case scenario, regular bail, a couple of weeks, you'll be out, a month or two, and then you fight it, you show the proof that you're innocent, and you get your acquittal, and that's the end of the story. And the reason why I say this is because I see a huge trend nowadays where a lot of these false accusations are being made by girlfriends who think, let me just force this guy to marry me. And a lot of times it's a proper all-out scam going on where it's not a girlfriend, it's someone that you've met, you've not maybe even met, that maybe you went out on a few occasions with, and the girl sees that this is a good catch, let's just do this to force the guy to marry me, and then perhaps we can try to kind of, get him to live on our terms, or even if there is a divorce, it's going to be beneficial for me. So you have to be very careful, and you have to introspect, and you need to understand that it's not a one shoe size fits all scenario over here. It could be, your high income, maybe your high net worth, maybe, there are other factors as well. And so I say that you need to be careful, and you need to understand that some occasions, if you do marry this person, right, what is the foundation of this kind of a marriage, right? If you marry this kind of person, what are the chances of success of your marriage, and how will things pan out in the future? And what are the repercussions for you, your family members, your house, your net worth, your earnings? All of these things you have to consider. And of course, I am not going to disregard the fact that there is a huge stigma attached to rape cases in comparison to the stigma of matrimonial disputes. However, parting words, I will say this. This country, it's a mess. Nobody wants to talk about it. So it doesn't really come out in open so often. Every 15th, 20th, 30th household, there is a guy sitting in his room crying because his girlfriend says, I will teach you a lesson. I'll show you what I can do. And maybe she files the case, maybe she doesn't. But so many men are going through this. You're not alone. You're not the only one going through this. And there are solutions in these situations. It's not the end of the world. Decide accordingly.